Do some cutting here, and there we go. Another episode of News Time is in the books. And it's only, 2 days late. I feel like I'm missing something, though. Oh, crap, I forgot to do the cold open. Geez, Chad, are you ever going to learn? Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. I forgot to do the cold open for this week's News Time. Well, since it's about spin-offs, why don't I tell you about the spin-offs that I have planned for this show? Okay, we've got one where Ron is going to host a travel show with his stupid kids and try to find his wife, the wife that left him. And then the second show is a show that's behind the scenes, kind of like the Larry Sanders Show, except way less funny. The third show is we're going to cut the show down from its hour length, cut it down to a half hour, and we're going to call it Conan. A fourth spin-off show is going to be me in front of a red sheet instead of a black sheet. And the red sheet is not going to have wrinkles in it because I'm going to iron it. And then the fifth show is...
It's News Time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
Welcome back to News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the spin-off news that you did not know about or even care about. Longtime listeners will note that a very long time ago, a slightly worse at hosting this show, Chad did an episode on spin-offs. It was not good. After that success, there's the 3 sequels with one on the way, 4D movie, Puss in Boots spin-off movie and show, ton of short films, games, comics, theme park rides. That's a lot of crap. Yikes, how can one man be so unattractive? And why am I yelling so much? Now that I've got a few more years under my belt, I think we can finally retackle older stories I did and not reference them because they were crap. As such, spin-offs. Obviously, we know spin-offs are new stories told within the same universe as the original material on which they are based. There are all different types of spin-offs, though. There's side pulls like Lion King 1.5, with stories occurring during the main movie. Crossovers, where one piece of media makes its way into another, like a Dick Wolf procedural. It's not a dirty movie, kids. This weekend will mark the entrance of another spin-off, this one coming more than 20 years later. John Turturro stars in the Jesus roles as his character from The Big Lebowski. Both movies seem to be painted in a different light, given their similar stars. Later in the year, we'll also see a return to Saw with a new entry from Chris Rock that's co-starring Samuel L. Jackson. But even if these movies were wanted or weren't even warranted in many cases, do they make money? Are they widely accepted? Hobbs and Shaw, a Fast and Furious movie, didn't get critical praise, but it destroyed at the box office, earning $60 million in its opening. For comparison, let's take a look at a recent movie's release earnings. Sonic? No, too easy. Call the Wild? Too unfunny. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn? Perfect. The movie stars Margot Robbie and a gaggle of vixens, plus it's a spin-off of Suicide Squad, which I guess is also a spin-off of Batman v Superman, which, you guessed it, is a spin-off of Man of Steel. It's not a sequel, and it takes place after... Who cares anyway? The Birds of Prey movie only made $33 million during its opening, and it's not on track to making its budget back. We live in a world where only one female-driven superhero movie is allowed to live on, so here's hoping Black Widow does just as poorly. After dropping off by 60% in the box office, does Birds fall under a sequel trap started by the original Tomb Raider sequel, wherein the latter movie is better than the former, but is still dismissed entirely due to the performance of the former? We have come to the consensus that Hollywood favors old ideas over new ones. We got a needless sequel series to Star Trek The Next Generation and Picard, which also joins a slew of other new Star Trek adjacent properties. Nickelodeon produced 4 separate sequels, endings, and spin-offs within the last few years alone of Hey Arnold, Legends of the Hidden Temple, Rocko's Modern Life, and Invader Zim. But when did this practice come into being? Tentpole films aren't anything new. James Bond has been around for decades, but the box office performance of the storied spy franchise makes way for smaller, less apt to be franchise movies like the 1969 flop Hello Dolly, which did not do any sort of good when it was released. It made money, but not the type of money it needed to make. Movies based on sure things like Jaws were introduced only to excel in theaters. Jump to today and spin-offs and the like are more or less on the falling side of the equation, whatever that means. So where does this leave them? Should we hate the Jesus Rolls and Spiral and Minions 2 and the like just for existing? Should we be mad at ourselves for seeing movies like these in the first place? Do we blame the studios? Our familiarities? No one has the right answer. Well, maybe see a smaller one-off film in theaters too if you see a franchise movie. For every Minions 2, also check out a Wes Anderson movie. Why Minions 2? Well, you're only human. And they're just so gosh darn cute. You know what else is cute? Why don't you subscribe and check out one of our other videos? Of course, you can head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, that now has embedded video on the webpage. Just figured it out. Do not call me slow. Find us on Instagram and Twitter at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Listen to the Constitutionals podcast wherever you get your podcast. And oh, they're those little minion guys. Oh God, I hope I edited them in.